What's good? What's good? What's good? What to do, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men. I am your host, Lee Black, coming to you live in living color from Atlanta, Georgia. So you can find me on YouTube and on Facebook, and my show is a standalone as well as being part of the TFG platform of shows. So if this is your first time joining us, feel free to pop into the comments, and of course, you're always welcome to come on live. So on our Wednesday shows, we kind of get into a little bit more serious topics than we do tend to get in on our Saturday shows. And I want to bring in my co-host from Memphis. This is Miss Tasha. What's going on, McMac?
Not much. Sitting here, I'm grateful that we are safe. Let me just say that to everybody who's in Florida right now. Man, I would not want to trade places with you right now at all. And it's the whole state. It's not even excluding any part. It's the whole state.
Wow. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to really peek in at all today to see what was going on. So
It's
thank you
not
for giving
good.
me an update. Shout out and our prayers go to anybody dealing with what's going on there in Florida, the natural disaster. So that's got to be devastating. Nature, once again, is that, it's boss. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
yeah,
right.
shout out to there. Uh, this is Mr. TFG himself, Mr. Real Estate Insider. This is Lamar. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you. As always, proud to be a part of your platform of shows. And thank you for supporting the show as always. Oh, man, love and respect, my brother. I hope you're still celebrating. This is the
Yeah.
birthday boy. So I hope you're still celebrating. Take the whole week, man. Do your thing. Enjoy. That's what's up. So I am told that my brother Kenny from Texas, he will probably be joining us late. And then two of our family members, Hannah and Bert, they're dealing with school issues tonight. What do you PTA type thing? So
Oh,
parenting, it is what it is. You know what I'm
yes, it
saying?
is.
It
It's
is what it
that time
is.
of the year. So
It is that time of the year to get things straight. So, shout out to them still newly wedding, but do your thing, my brother and sister. And if we see you tonight, fantastic. If not, we truly understand. Also, my family member, my real blood family member, Sis Sherry in New York, she's out doing her thing, kind of doing the family thing with mom and daughter. So, Tasha, it might just be you and I for a little bit tonight. Now, what people don't know is we always have been prepared to do this thing, by ourselves when they need be, and so we're gonna make it happen tonight. And if we get some individuals to pop in, then we will. And then look, the show will be the show. We'll let it run however it needs to run, but we're gonna cover what we do. And that's Miss
yeah.
she done put
Miss
a married
Paulson.
name. How you
Right.
doing, Miss Poston? How you doing, baby girl? Good to see you. We love it. We love it. She says that they are on their way. They're leaving the PTA meeting now.
Okay.
So fantastic. So we're going to jump into it. But this is the final show on my sex series. In case you don't know, for the past 3 weeks, we have covered topics dealing with sex. And we weren't discussing gratuitous things. It was very educational. We try to make it fun. But this literally was my specials on sex. And the reason why, we did these is because if you haven't noticed, winter is a coming.
Woo.
That temperature is changing. Finally, even here in Atlanta, it's getting cool outside. So we are heading into, not just the holiday season here shortly, but cuffing season, batten down season, where you get that person inside, so we thought it would be great, leading up to this to talk about sex in a responsible way. And I see I got my brother popping in. What's going on, brother Kenny? How you doing tonight?
What's up, fam? Yeah, my laptop is doing the Windows update, so you know how that goes.
Yes,
So I
sir.
said, well, let me jump on my phone. I don't never do this on my phone, so this is gonna be new to me. So
Well,
it's
my
good.
brother, we'll take you however we get you. Good to see you
Right.
always. That
Hey,
that that that.
I wish you said that. I wish you
Ah!
said that.
Well, we appreciate you. So we again,
Yeah.
the Postons look like they might join us a little bit later, and who knows, Sherry might even pop in. But we're gonna talk about, the topic number 4. This time tonight, we're talking about sex drive changes throughout the years. Um, And I'm going to jump right into this thing. And we're going to start off, uh, the Postons are laughing at us. Miss Hannah is laughing at us. We see you, baby, wearing that new name. Do your thing.
I know that's
Uh,
right. What's up, homie?
we're going to start out by talking about the libido. When you hear that term, libido, what does it make you think of? And I'm gonna go with you first, Tasha. When you hear about somebody talk about their libido, what does it make you think? What does it make you think about?
Just your desire. That's all. Just your desire, wherever it is. It's ever changing, not just as you get older, but just through the day, even through the week, through the year, like through the months. It just changes. It's like a roller coaster. Sometimes you might want it more than others.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother Kenny. What do you want to add to that when you hear the term libido? What does that mean?
I agree with Tasha, but just to add to it for men, it's basically your sex drive. It's, if basically in the mood. When are you in the mood? Do you ever? Does your mood swings as far as sex change? It's on a pendulum? Is it steady? Does it increase? Does it decrease? Is it up and down? So yeah, that's what I think it is.
Absolutely. And I wanted to start here because the topic of the show is sex drive changes throughout the years. And we don't call the show Real Talk for no reason. We're gonna talk real about this. We'll laugh about it, but you know, your sex drive, my sex drive truly has changed over time. And what's interesting about this is we could immediately point to age as a factor, but it's so much more than that. There are other factors that play a role in your sex drive: psychological, social, physical. All of these things play a role in your sex drive and your libido. And even though for the next few minutes we're going to be primarily talking about how it affects men, I'm so glad we got you on here, Tasha, to represent what this feels like in terms of sex drive for women, because I want you to jump in and talk about, from your perspective, what you know about this. So I'm going to be reading a few of these things because I think it's important. So when we talk about, man's sex drive declining, the first thing, the culprit we always think about is low testosterone, reducing our ability to
Hmm.
have sex. And then, of course, from there, the dreaded, ED, erectile dysfunction, not being able to get that bad boy to stand up when it wants to, and there's so many different factors that could go into this. Well, there was a large study done amongst men in Massachusetts, and 11% said that they had lack of a sex drive. And they tested all of the men for testosterone levels, and about 28% of the men with low testosterone had low libido. The funny thing was, these were relatively young men with an average age of 47. What do you
Mm.
think about this? You know, have you ever experienced, that, and again, you don't have to answer this, I'm pretty wide open, but have you ever experienced, that low levels of testosterone and, just low desire, not being able to get it up? And then if you have, what did you attribute it to? And then Tasha, have you dealt with this as a woman with a partner dealing with this? So yeah, it's funny, but it's serious at the same time,
But
so Brother Kenny,
it,
any
it's
experience
it's
dealing with
definitely
this at
serious.
all?
Yes, I did. I back in I want to say I think I was like 41, 42. I went in just for a checkup, and I was having some libido issues at that time. My doctor said, "Well, we're gonna check your T, your testosterone."
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, my testosterone was low, and he prescribed me some things, but he also said, "What about up?" He said, "Now psychologically, what's going on?" And psychologically, that was messed because my sex drive was still pretty good, but for some reason, I was just I just couldn't. I could get it every now and then. It wasn't considered erect. And he said, "What about your job?" I said, "Well, at that point, I was working in television news, which I've done, and that's very stressful. And I was stressed out about a lot of things." He said, "I
Mm.
just think that you're dealing with some psychological issues." He said, we're gonna give you this for your low T, and then he did prescribe me the blue pill. Take it, but and it worked. I didn't really, and eventually my low T did get back to normal levels. But yeah, so I've been through that, and for a man, that's difficult because it's hard to talk about it. You kind of embarrassed about it. Be honest
Yes,
with
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'll share my story here as well. Mr. Joseph, we definitely been missing you, my brother. Good to see you popping in. You still family. Once you're a part of the family, you always family. You're just a distant cousin right now, but come on home. It's getting ready to get cold. Come on back to the show, my brother. But thank you for popping in. Um,
you.
I experienced this early in my marriage as a newlywed. I was 21 years old. And long story short, lost my job and literally went from, the highest levels is doing it like jackrabbits to really not being able to hold my end up. And as you say, very embarrassing to talk about. And I ended up going to a urologist wanting them to give me something and they refused, because for me, it was all psychological. I was in the best physical condition of my life. They couldn't find anything wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. So it came down to stress. I wasn't working and I wasn't feeling like a man, you know. And I tell that part of it because there's been a few times throughout my life where I've gone through some lows in my life, losing a house in foreclosure, having to start over a couple of times, being out of work for longer, protracted periods of time, where for me, when I was younger, that was so hard to deal with that it affected my libido, when I was younger. The irony is when I got older, those same life situations, being broke, out of work, it sped it up for me. I use sex, to actually get through those periods. So for me, dealing with libido has mostly always, ironically, been psychological with me until now as I'm dealing with some health issues because now my erectile issues when I have had them are dealing with what's called osteosclerosis. And this is a direct result of, the hardening of the arteries.
Mm,
The tiny blood vessels supplying the penis can no longer
right,
dilate
right.
to bring in the strong flow needed for a firm erection. And one of the major culprits here is diabetes and high blood pressure. Smoking and high cholesterol are also in there as well. Well, I got diagnosed as a diabetic about 7 years ago, and it changed my entire life on so many different levels. Having diabetes and high blood pressure, I can sit here and tell you definitively it has affected my testosterone level, my libido in so many different ways that, I'm still fighting that good fight every single day, So, Tasha, as a woman, what can you add to this about
Yeah.
your, exposure and experience with this from a woman's perspective?
Well, me personally, I've never had erectile dysfunction. I don't know what that feels like
Yes,
personally.
ma'am.
Okay. So, but no, but seriously, I don't know if a lot of men know, but women, we have testosterone in our ovaries. And when it pairs with estrogen, it goes to the maintaining of our
Mm,
hormones. If the testosterone rises too high in us, it creates all kinds of issues for us. You can get like PCOS, balding, an enlarged clitoris, things like that. If it's too low in women, it can cause you to have weight gain, and a low libido as well. So it's
Wow.
yeah, so we produce it ourselves. Now it's supposed to be like a certain level, like in nanograms, like per deciliter of blood, but we produce it as well. Now, as far as like having dealt with that, like with a partner, none come to my mind immediately that I can honestly like think of,
Gotcha.
just
Gotcha.
immediately come to my mind. But like there have been people that I have talked to, like other men that I know that have dealt with it, and have one person that does come to my mind. he was dealing with like with low testosterone, and he actually had to get like an implant in his hand for it.
Ooh, okay,
So
okay. I got a question for you because you and I we have
Oh,
all these
wow. Oh,
conversations behind the scenes, and people don't know we talk about this stuff all the time anyway. And for you as a woman, even though it may not be so much libido, I don't know if that's how you would describe it, but I know at times you talk about just not wanting to be sexual. What
yeah,
do you attribute that to for you as a woman?
that's hormones. That's
That is
that's
hormone.
hormones, and that's monthly. So that's
Oh,
monthly. So that's
okay.
what I say. Like for women, it like we're on a calendar, so it's monthly when you go through. Like well, for a lot of women, it's monthly that you go through these things. Like for some women, before like when they're ovulating, before they get their cycle, like in that month, they may have like they may be really horny. Even with their period, they may be really horny, and then like on the outside of that, or like at the beginning of the month, it just may not be there. But
Okay.
also, just like the normal factors, like gaining weight, just not feeling, just not feeling attractive.
Gotcha. I love it.
So,
And I got a question for you before we move to the next one, Kenny, for you. But Joseph says, and men produce estrogen in the testes. So as you see, there's a lot going on, in this plumbing that we deal with here as human beings. But Brother Kenny, I want to ask a question before we move on for this. When we're talking about libido, as you have aged, like and we're the same age. I think I got you by a few months. But as we've aged, have
no, no, you got me by a year. You got
a
me by a
year.
year, bro.
Okay. Okay. I'll turn 55. So I'm turning
Yeah.
55 in January. When are you
I
when
turn, I turn, I turn, I would turn 54 in January.
perfect. So as you've aged,
I'm 50, yeah.
have your desire waned just by turning older and looking at what's out there on the dating horizon? Has that affected your libido?
I would say I think it has. I think it really did it. Because I guess I'm a little bit more selective. But if but I do know this. Once if I see that one that I'm like got my eye on and I'm attracted to, and there's a connection. Oh, it's on and popping. But I would say that it definitely has uh got because I'm more you know.
Yeah. We losing a little bit, but well, we getting the most of it. And I asked that because that's a whole nother thing for me. Yes, I'm more selective, certainly. You factor in hygiene and all those other things, I could go into. But I think just in general too, that because I don't recognize what's going on out there, it has waned my desire to be involved in it too. And something inside of me has turned off to where it's crazy because just 5 short years ago, when Tasha knows this, the last thing I looked at on a woman was her face. I immediately objectified a woman by looking at her body, and at times have changed. I've seen so much gyrations and twerking and women's bodies until now I'm at this place where I want you to cover up because it's turned off my sex drive. Where it used to draw me in, now it's a big stop sign for me. And
Hmm.
so those are factors that just as we've changed, which is going to bring me to, you know, uh, uh, um, talking about specifically, you know, men in our 20s, men in our 20s. And I'm going to read this. Testosterone, a hormone men need for sexual arousal, is typically high in your 20s, and so is your sex drive. But it's also a time when you could be anxious about sex because of inexperience. Now, that might be part of why 8% and possibly more of men in their 20s report erectile dysfunction. So, obviously, a relatively low number. The condition can happen because of a medical or mental health issue, or even be a sign that you're at risk of heart disease. Talk obviously to a doctor about your symptoms, and again, I just mentioned how for me, I experienced this in my 20s, so that, it for me, that's kind of solidifies exactly, what I was talking about. I know in my 20s, it didn't take nothing for me to be interested, but and I'm not even going to dwell on this because I think you would agree, Brother Kenny, as well. In your 20s, any issues whatsoever?
I just very minimal, very minimal. I think I can remember maybe one instance that is like, but I think that was because I was wilding out and I had got too drunk. So
And
outside of that, you know
bingo,
what I'm
bingo,
saying? No, I don't. It's my 20s. Yeah.
bingo, bingo, which to me brings me to a more important conversation. And again, I wish I had Hannah on here. I wish I had Sherry on here. Wish I had Dee on here because again, we get educated by learning, about you guys, but women in your 20s. So it talks about how you're likely to be more fertile
Right.
from your teens to late 20s than you are in the years that follow. This may make you choosier about if and when you have sex, though it's not clear exactly why. In fact, scientists think that female desire might go up just as fertility starts to decline towards the end of your 20s. Any Talk to us about that, Tasha. Is that true, false? What's been your experience? And
I
if you
could
want, I could read that again.
I could definitely, like see that in itself. I mean, yeah, I think that we could probably all agree that as women get older, our sex drives like increase because I think usually like we're getting more experience. So we're starting to learn more about ourselves, what we like. I mean, there's probably a lot of women in their 20s that, probably don't even know like what an orgasm is and don't even know how to, like please themselves. So I could definitely see that. And as you get older, that risk of getting pregnant decreases. Oh yeah, so you're gonna be like a little bit more like willing like to take
Oh,
a risk,
that
you
makes
know.
sense. That
So
makes sense.
being
Okay.
younger, you're
That
gonna
makes
be like, oh, maybe not, you look
That
like you're
makes
gonna get
sense.
somebody pregnant. So
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
That actually makes sense. I wasn't looking at
That
it
makes a
all the
whole lot
way
of
from that angle because when I read this, and again, I'm reading this for the first time. You got to understand, I don't rehearse this. It took me back to my younger time when I was messing with women in their 20s, and it makes more sense to me now. I didn't see it then, back then being young, you're just trying to get in somebody's pants. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh my God, that makes so much sense now. How,
whole lot. Like it.
yeah,
Hmm.
the young girls and their inexperience and how you had to resort to the trickery to get to it. Almost, we all know the famous, let me just put the head in, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and I never, till you explained it this way, it goes to show you being in a male body and what's going on in a woman's body, even though from a physical perspective, looking at the woman and you thinking, well, she should be fucking out the frame at this point with all that ass and titties and stuff, but
mm.
you just brought to bear what was probably going through those women's head that now you're not gonna give me
Bert, don't
Bert,
come in here
yeah,
judging
you
us with
came in.
that.
Bert came in. We're talking about sex drive changes throughout the years, and Tasha was explaining how for women in their 20s, you know how even as the fertility, you know Tasha, you explained it better. Go say again.
As you get, like of course, like when you're younger, you're more fertile. Every month you're releasing more eggs because you have more eggs to spare. But as you get older, you're releasing less. Your chances of pregnancy decrease, so you're willing to take a little bit more risk when it comes to having sex. And so that's why, like for women, as we get older, our sex drive increases.
And that's why I couldn't, I'm educated just like you, and that just explains so freaking much. I can literally sit here and I'll leave this show tonight saying I was 54 years old when I learned X, Y, and Z because I'm just now getting that and making that connection. And I've always prided myself on knowing so much about women. And again, it just goes to show I don't know shit, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out like everybody else. I put on a good show all these years and tricked them bitches into dropping them drawers, but I'm learning like
We
everybody else.
don't know that.
I, I can't hear you, Ken.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you,
Yeah,
Bert, but
we can hear
Kenny
you,
keeps
Bert.
going in and out.
Yeah. What'd you say, Brother Kenny?
Is it frozen?
Yeah, I think it's kind of sticking a little bit. Okay, well, let's move
I got
on. What's going on, Miss Poston?
him.
uh right on time. Let's jump into men in their 30s and 40s. Now, this says many men continue to have a strong sex drive through these years, though testosterone starts to slowly decrease around age 35. It typically goes down by about 1% per year, but it could be faster for some men. This could have some effect on the sex drive. Plus, for many men, the stress of work, family, and other commitments can affect how interested you are in sex. So, for my brothers on here, and I'll start with you, Brother Bert, did you notice that trend when you hit your 30s, transitioning from your 20s to your 30s? What was your experience?
I tell you this much. I do know
Okay,
that.
now it's real low.
Yeah, it's real low.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just really kind of low.
We don't go out.
Okay.
Oh man, oh man. Well, hopefully we'll
Come
we'll,
up.
we'll, we'll
Come
we'll
up.
get them back. You know.
Yeah.
Um, so of course I'll have to be representative until we get our fans back.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to post this so that you can see.
Well, can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah, a
now.
little bit better. All right,
It's going like
go
a
ahead, Bert.
All right. Y'all can hear me?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, great. So that transition, it wasn't really that it wasn't harsh on me because I've always worked out and I've always made sure that I ate the proper foods. Now I'm not gonna say that I was always good with I don't like to call it diet, but my way of eating. So a
Hmm.
lot of times with my supplementation, eating just like sweet potatoes, doing those proper things, and definitely, I'll stress this again, working out, because a lot of times that helps with the stress. I'm not going to say that that didn't come down on me, that I wasn't stressing about jobs or anything like that, but working out really helped me, and it helped to keep my testosterone level at a certain level for a certain period of time.
I love that. I love that. I love that you said that. Um, Look at me. You know.
Please.
Um, and here's where I'm going with that. Early on, I was blessed with a high metabolism, and so I took that for granted. I was so super active in my 20s and 30s, so I'd never been a workout person. You know, my weight was maintained so naturally because I was always on the go at that time. Now I did used to run. I played tennis on a regular basis. I had some of the sexiest legs that was imaginable. My legs was at that time that was the go getter. I used to wear my little white shorts, and plus I was packing a nice little package there. I was sexy as a motherfucker when I went out on a tennis court,
So no,
and it was that level of arrogance that I took for granted because I never ate well ever. I always ate bad my entire adult life. Drank way too much alcohol, didn't get enough sleep, uh, ate all kinds of fast food and shit like that. But I was able to get away with it. I wasn't a workout kind of person. So to hear you talk about being conscious of that for you, so guess what? even when I was in my 30s now, Bert, and all of a sudden the stress came because now I'm divorced. My house is in foreclosure. I'm dealing with losing everything I own. That is actually when weight started to first appear. And because I hadn't developed any good habits, I just kept doing what was normal. And the crazy part is because bitches kept giving me pussy, my thing was it never dawned on me to slim down. The bigger I got, in some cases, the more pussy that they gave me. And so it was just a bad cycle that led to what you see sitting in front of you right now. So I blame bitches in a lot of ways. You take half the blame for me.
You're not. No, you're not. No, you're not just gonna blame women. No, you're not.
I
No,
tried it, folks. I tried it.
canceled. No.
I tried. I tried. I promise. Okay. So we talk about men. Fair back turnaround is fair play. Let's talk about women in their 30s and 40s. This is the time of life. This time of life may be when your sex drive is strongest. One study showed that women between 27 and 45 had more frequent and more intense sexual fantasies than younger or older women. They also had more sex and were more likely to have it sooner in a relationship. So it's kind of talking about what you talked about. You're nodding your head already. So, wow. So, look, and enlighten us about this because I'm telling you, I'm learning some shit here. Brother Lamar says they say avocado and pussy burn calories. You know what, Lamar? Once again, I do not eat avocados, and then I stop eating pussy once these bitches stop taking a bath. So I'm just assed out all the way around.
So
You know,
now it's back on you, definitely. Okay.
I don't eat avocado. Even when I go to Subway, I don't put that on the sandwich. And most of these bitches don't bathe regularly, so I can't eat pussy. What's going on, DJ? DJ said, "What's up? What's up, newlyweds? Still waiting on my invite." tell,
Can't
tell them
stand
posters
DJ.
that done come and gone. Tasha, talk to us about this. But the part I want to hear about in particular, it said the fantasies between 27 and 45. Now, for the record, and I know you're not one of those women that's scared to tell your age.
Mm,
How old are you?
34.
She's 34. So how true is this?
It's very true. Because you're coming, that transitioning period, leaving your 20s into your 30s, you're coming into your own. You know, you damn sure by now know how to get yourself off. If nothing else, if nobody else does, you know how to get yourself off now. But you also, you know what you want. You know what you stop laughing at me. You know what you're looking for, and also like like you want specific things. You're in that. I would say on the incline. Now I would say like you're on the
Wow.
incline.
Wow.
So this time period, a lot of women are having kids, or like their kids are transitioning to like teenagers, like they're changing too, so
Mhm.
that now women are wanting to get back out there, wanting to invest more time on themselves, and really like focus on themselves. I'm not fine like I used to be anymore. My problem is I stopped working like like jobs that required like physical, like activity
Right.
out of me. I have
Right.
like a very much more like sedentary like lifestyle now, and that has been to my detriment. I know this. I'm not having nearly as much sex as I used to. Just full disclosure, okay? I just let y'all in my bedroom just a little bit, okay? I'm gonna close the door again, okay? So, but I do, and I realize that I am taking the steps, like to correct that, because I do want to be, putting it on these young people. Not really, but kind of, sort of, kind of. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I appreciate that. Before you go, Hannah, because I want to ask your experience. DJ says being diabetic doesn't mess with you sexually unless it's uncontrolled. Working out is imperative, but it'll keep you solid though. And Bert talked about the value of working out. And I do know people who are diabetic, and you're so right. You're 1,000% correct that, and even a doctor tell my fat ass that every time I go, but it just falls on deaf ears. It's just so much easier to lay around in bed eating chicken and shit than it is to work out. So, but you're right. I'm trying to get to that place. But Miss Hannah, talk to us about that age. You don't have to say your age, but I know you fall within that 27 to 45. So talk to us about how true that is for you as a woman.
Well, I'll say my age. I'm 35.
Just a little low.
35. I'll say that. Can you hear me?
It's kind of low.
Yeah, just went low again.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you
We
now,
can hear
much
you now.
a little better.
So I said I'll say my age. I'm 35. I don't have a problem with that. Say no.
So, I'm still getting it out here.
It's my turn. You freak. I'll say this. I'm talking about me personally. I don't know what it has to do with age, but I'm more inclined to do more now at my age than I did in my 20s. And I guess I think I'm a little different because I was more so back, more in the church then. So I was still in that mindset, like, you don't do this, you don't do that. And now I'm like, I'm grown, I do what I want. Like, put in your ear
Right.
whatever you want. Come on, put your hand in. At this point in life, so I will say that I think it increased more, and then my willingness to be a little close, like I won't have sex this time, like the first date stuff.
Right.
That kind of go out the window the older you get. I'll say not. You still keep your morals, but I think personally for me, my sex drive has gotten increased since I've gotten older and more open.
I feel you, and
That
that's
part.
kind of what Tasha was talking about. That I guess for women hitting in between that age group, you there's a greater realization of your womanhood and a more certainty about what you want and what you like. So I definitely appreciate that. And again, not even being funny. What's crazy is I'm 54. Women in that age group, they're better in bed. They're absolutely better in bed than, you know, if right now, if the choice is somebody that's in their 20s and somebody in their 30s or 40s, I'll take the higher age group because of that reason. You know, having somebody who don't know their own body, who their expectation is you to go all hard and fast. And back in them days when you slinging women around and shit like that, that's not fun. It wasn't really fun then. It was you did it because you could, you know, as opposed to now somebody who wants you to take your time, know exactly how they want to be touched. You couldn't give me a version to save my life right now. I would rather have somebody more experienced and who's more, definitely has a more adult approach, when it comes to relations. So I can appreciate that. I'm coming to you next with this one, Hannah, because it's talking about women having kids. Now, of course, Tasha, don't have any children. So it says at any age, pregnancy and childbirth have a big impact on your sex life, but it's different for everyone. Your body and hormone changes throughout pregnancy. That may mean a boost in libido at times, especially during the second trimester, and a lack of desire at others. You also may be anxious about whether it's safe to have sex while you're pregnant. It usually is, but ask your doctor if you're unsure. Breastfeeding, raising kids, and other work can also affect the time, energy, and interest you have in sex. Now, I'm here to tell you, I don't know anything about this. This is where I rely completely on you as a parent and as a woman. Not only anybody who knows me, I'm not physically attracted to pregnant women. I've said that on another show. So my experience is very minimal here. It really and truly is. So enlighten us, on this from your perspective.
So I'll go by me personally. I've had two
A
very.
little, a little louder for us.
I hear me now.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So me personally, I had two very rough pregnancies. My son being the most, and then my daughter really being rough. So for me, I wasn't even thinking about penis until the end when I was like, get this baby out, like whatever you got to do. So for me, my sex drive was kind of different because I was just in so much pain. My heart rate was like uncontrollable. So for me, I wasn't even thinking about any type of sex until, in the beginning of the trimester, of course, your hormones are raging. But close to the end, I don't know about other people. Me, I was like, don't look at me, get away from me. I did nurse, so I'm gonna say nursing is a little different though, because you're feeling a little bit better. Your body's
Okay.
going to still touch the breast because you don't want milk popping out. But I would say nursing, you actually are a little bit more hormonal than versus pregnancy. I'm just going by my personal experience. People
Right.
are
Right.
going to be fine for them, but no, I'm good on that.
Okay. And again, and I wish we had Dee or Sherry to give us even more insight because they're parents, But here's an advocate for pregnant women. DJ says used cars always perform better.
Let me tell you something, DJ. Let me tell you something, DJ. It depends on the driver, okay? Because sometimes you might just need to stick to like a go-kart, okay?
Okay, all right now. Lamar chimed in with you gotta be too careful with the new car.
That's right. It depreciates as soon as you get that shit off the lot.
Immediately.
Oh
Yes, it
my.
does. But me being a true Neanderthal man, I as a man with visual creatures and I like things shiny and new. And this next comment is specifically highlighted towards Rihanna. This is why I will not be watching the halftime Super Bowl show because she was a brand new model, and then all of a sudden she got a hood dented. She got dents in the fender and some more shit now. So now she can go to the jump heap. I can't watch it.
Still look good.
Vintage. Vintage, okay?
I, uh, she's
We call
spoiled
them
now.
road, y'all sit around here any other time, y'all amazed by old cars and shit. And now
I
all of a
ain't.
sudden when it get to pussy, then it's a problem, okay?
I ain't. I have never been a fan of them old jalopies riding down the street.
Any
No,
anything collectible is where anything older is of value, okay? Now all of a sudden it's pussy and it ain't valuable. Okay.
Rihanna, you broke my
She might
heart.
surprise you though. She
Just
might
so you
surprise
know,
you.
Still bad.
I'm just saying,
Very still bad.
Rihanna, I can't watch you no more, baby. You've been ruined.
Oh,
All right.
Girl.
you know, DJ, you're right. Checking that Carfax is vital, because Tasha, you talking about having the right driver. Now, if it's a whole lot of drivers been behind that wheel, I don't want that car either. No, too many drivers behind that model. It could affect things too. I don't want just anybody and shit stuffing their feet down on the pedals and shit.
If you can stuff the feet on it, you got another problem, okay?
I'm just
That's another issue.
every mechanic that been under the hood, fucking with shit. No, that's what's
Yeah,
wrong
but
with some
some
of
of
the stuff
y'all
I'm
are
looking at.
shade tree mechanics, okay? Some of y'all shade tree, okay?
All right,
Some of y'all ain't got no business being under there anyway, okay?
you're right. You're right. Let me pull it back. Let's talk about 50s and beyond. So this don't apply to you, Mr. Bird, because you haven't hit these. I lost my brother Kenny because this would apply to me and brother
I'm
Kenny.
50, not in the 50s yet. I just touched 50. So relax.
No, hell no. No.
Relax. Relax.
No. Are you hold on? Say that again.
Go ahead. What'd you say, bro?
Say that again.
88. What'd you say, bro?
Say that again about you say you touching what
Yeah,
age?
I'm 50.
Nah.
Yeah,
Nah.
sir.
No. I don't buy that.
That's from all them years of working out. I'll tell you this much, and it's everybody that's listening. to my grandma, may God rest her dead. She always told me. She said, "You take care of yourself when you're young, and your body take care of you when you get older."
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
Show us the
Wow.
Carfax.
my favorite line, you ain't never lied to
I'm
me.
with Tasha. I'm with Tasha. Tasha say, show us the damn Carfax. I did.
That's how he
My
got me.
brother,
I know he
my
did.
brother, I'm telling you, I
I didn't know
fantastic.
real age at first. He got me.
Oh,
You know what, Bert? I love you even more now. You done went out and snagged you one of them young gals. I love it. Love it.
Both worlds. You got the experience, but you still get to see it
My
now and then.
man. That's my brother right there. That's my brother right there. All right then. So let's talk about this because again, this you'll be able to chime in. If you're in good physical and mental health, there's no reason you shouldn't continue to enjoy your sex life as you get older. You're living proof of that. Erectile dysfunction does become more common as you age. Your erections may happen less often and may be less firm, but it's not age itself that causes the problem as much as health problems that become more common with age, like heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, and obesity. I got them all. And the drugs that treat them. I got that one too. So
like Pokemon. My God, gotta catch them all.
talk to your doctor about your options. I'm rolling all of those except heart disease. Well, when my next doctor appointment gonna tell me if my fat ass got that too, because right now I think I'm rolling with all of them.
Mm-mm. No.
But
Hope not.
huh?
Hope not.
Oh no, and I'm joking. Every time I have my doctor's appointment, I'm praying not. That's why I say, you are a hero out here now, Bird. You done
I'm trying to
snagged
hold
your
it down.
youngin.
I'm holding it down.
Partner, partner, I love it. I love it. But to your point, you just talked about the value of taking care of your body. So, enlighten the viewers about what you were saying about for you. Because again, I'm thinking you probably some freaking 42, 43. My God.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us about hitting your 50 and your sex drive as you're nearing 50.
I mean, to tell you the truth, you know more about yourself, and when you're in a good state as far as your health, there's no lacking, there's no slack. So that's why I say it's always key, especially for black men. We take on a lot of stress for working out, changing your way of eating. I don't like to say diet because sometimes diet has a limit. A lot of times just changing the way you eat here and there and supplementation. Me and Shauna were just talking in the car, and we were just, talking about zinc. That's another good supplement to take. Not only does it work as far as with your recovery, but it also works with your vitality as well.
Okay.
So there's certain things that I do and I adjust just to make sure that I stay in this same state so that way I can still function the way I want to function, the way I need to function, especially with this young tenderoni on here, with this lioness over here. So I got to make sure, that I'm holding it down for the fellas and for those for 15 and over.
I love it. I love it. In all seriousness, I know I have to make some lifestyle changes. Seriously. We've been joking about it, but Tasha and I talk about this all the time. Moving to this new location, there's a gym across the walkway. I know that I've got to get off my ass. I'm running out of excuses. Once upon a time, I had gym memberships and a state of the art facility, but it was too hot. It was too cold. It was downstairs. It's up. The reality is, there's a workout facility probably in fucking 200 feet from me. I live on the first floor now. There's a courtyard where I could be walking around. I actually have vitamins that I don't take. I'm running out of excuses. I'm actually knowing that as I go to my doc's appointment here, that I'm going to have to make some serious lifestyle changes here because, in all truthfulness, I can't drink. My body doesn't even process alcohol and food in the same way anymore. So it's coming down to a point where it's not up to me. That's the thing. Eh, Up till now, I've always had the choice. Well, I'm not going to do it. But the reality is, Tasha and I talk about this. I just recently started changing my sleep habits because I wasn't getting enough rest. That staying up to 3 a.m. in the morning and still being able to function, I can no longer do it anymore. My body just won't let me do it anymore. I can't eat hot sauce or spicy food. I can't do it anymore. Drink. I got a shitload of alcohol in here, but I could probably get 2 drinks down, and that's really it. So I'm being forced to change it whether I like it or not. And I'm not mad at that. I'm actually happy because for some people, and I'm one of those people, it may take that for me to start getting on the road to getting healthy. And the last thing I'll add and ask a question to you, because I'm coming to you ladies next on this, but I also firmly believe that having a
He freeze up on us?
Black, can you hear us?
I think he froze.
Yeah, he froze.
He did freeze. Maybe it's his internet. I thought it was me.
Get a dope pose. I like that. Okay. So no,
See.
I'm moving.
Well, I was really curious to see like what point he was gonna make.
Yeah.
Maybe
Let's see if I can message him.
he's coming back.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay, well then hopefully he should be able just to come back in. This is awkward.
What you say?
I said, well, this is awkward because I don't have what he was pulling from, so I can't continue the show.
Well, moving right
This is the
along.
first time that happened.
I know. There he is.
Welcome back.
I was still talking again. Something came across my screen saying about YouTube in Brazil, and I was still talking. I don't know if it's the storm that's affecting things or whatever. Yeah, thank you guys for staying in, hanging with. But the last point I was making is I firmly believe that when you're in a good, stable relationship, having somebody to give a damn about your health matters too, because you're holding each other accountable because you're watching what this person eat. And I'm talking to you two beautiful people in particular. I asked the question a long time ago, Bert, how the hell you stay so thin with Hannah cooking all that good food? And you talked about working out and stuff, but I'm sure from where you sit, Hannah, too, you're cooking healthy stuff. I see your dishes include a lot of vegetables, and you're probably cooking lean oils. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Hey, bro, I want to say this to you. Next time, it'll be fairly soon once everything kind of calms down on our end. But when I come down there, I'm gonna train you.
Please,
We're gonna go through a couple things and then we'll try to, see what works for you.
I thank you for saying that so much. I let me add this. I was healthier when I lived. Bless you, Tasha. I
Thank
was
you.
healthier when I lived in Memphis. I am that personality. I need somebody to push me. If I was still living in Memphis, I would not be this fat. Tasha wouldn't allow it.
I would not be this fat.
She
I can
wouldn't allow
assure
it.
you.
I can tell you one, and again, it's back to having somebody to give a damn about your health, because this is the kind of friend that would walk in and start throwing shit away that's not good for me, or telling me, Black, you don't need that. No, oh hell no. And so that I really, my brother, please, I'm open and receptive to all the help that you can give. Thank you for saying that. All right, let's get in this last one, as we close out, because women in their 50s and beyond, and even though Hannah, Tasha, this don't apply to you, you know, I think it was important to mention to, some of my viewers out there who may be a little bit older. So for women 50s and beyond, around age 50, an empty nest or less worry about getting pregnant might make some women more interested in sex. But as you head towards menopause, estrogen levels drop, which might cool your libido down a bit and lead to vaginal dryness. Hot flashes, anxiety, weight gain, and sleep problems can also make you less in the mood. Of course, ask your doctor about medicines, hormone, lubrication, other treatment. This is why I do with Miss Sherry on the show, because she has talked to me as her brother about actually going through this in great detail, going through menopause, and she had early onset menopause. Go ahead, Hannah.
So I'll let y'all in my business tonight. um, I actually had to get a hysterectomy.
Mm.
So I had hit menopause with a quick, they put me on estrogen, and I had halfway through now. I know you sick of me. So even though I'm in my 30s, because I had to get that procedure, it made me, even they gave me a partial to try to stop the menopause
Hmm.
and put me on estrogen, but some effect I still got now. So it is a change within your body. And I can tell the difference when I take the estrogen and when I don't.
Wow, wow, wow. Once again, this is why I said we're such complicated beings, and it just so much goes into our makeup and things like that. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I love this show because we said at the top of this, these topics sometimes can be a little bit embarrassing, and I'm glad that my family that shows up with me week after week, we've gotten a comfort with each other to be able to share this, and we make it fun, but this is not talked about, especially with African Americans. We never have these serious conversations for some reason. We'll sit about around and talk about all of the craziest stuff, but we won't talk about health and sex in a responsible way and the changes our body is going through. So I love you guys for being able to share so much about that, because whether y'all know it, it's helping somebody.
Hmm.
We're doing it in a fun way, but it's helping somebody. There are viewers watching right now. I'm looking at my screen and they're not saying anything, but I know that they tell me behind the scenes, man, that was a good show, or I really appreciated that. So I thank you guys. And so, Mr. TFG, yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button. We're still growing the show, and, you know, um, and we do this truly as a labor of love. Tasha and I do this, and you guys are family. So I enjoy showing up, having some fun, and it makes my day, makes my week. So I thank you once again. But we've come to the end, and oh my God, the hour goes by so quick. You know, you look up, and but I hope that we've imparted, some good things to the viewers out there. And again, comment, and let me know what you want us to talk about. We're Tasha and I, we're always open. You know, it's a lot that goes into thinking up good show ideas to keep the show interesting and fresh. And so we welcome any input. This is as much a part of the viewers as platform as it is mine. Tell me what you'd like to hear us talk about, and we're open to it. So absolutely. So we appreciate your support. And a good sitting. Anybody got any final thoughts before we rush off into the back end of our week?
I do.
All right.
Go ahead, Hannah. Go ahead.
I think this is a good topic because tonight it was fun, but it's still,
It's real low.
sorry, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, that's better, sweetie.
Said that I think this was really a good topic because even though it was really fun, we touched on some real things that we needed to touch on that can, like you said, help other people. So I actually like this segment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I just wanted to, just to add that um, for a lot of people who, like who do go back and watch the show or whatever, it's not that don't ever think that this isn't going to happen to you. A lot of these things are inevitable. Just with age, you have a lot to look forward to. You know? Now,
Yes.
we don't when we know that there are anomalies, out
Right.
here, whether you want to chalk it up to like really good genes or whatever, or nobody in your family's ever gone through that. But just, keep an open mind. And for somebody who does go back and watch it and it resonates with you, you're not alone. Okay. Whether or not people want to admit it, you're not alone.
Absolutely. And thank you for saying that because believe it or not, we actually have younger viewers. They don't say anything, they see the family is a little bit older, but I actually have younger viewers that communicate with me on a regular basis. Hey, I'm still watching, and so I love what you're saying, Tasha. It's coming, God willing, live long enough. Some of these things are coming, and I hope that somewhere in there that, man, I heard them talk about that before. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace the changes that's going to happen to all of us. I pray that we all live long enough to go through some more changes, God willing. I hope 20 years from now we could be sitting around Bert and I talking about what it's like to be in our 70s and shit, so that's the goal, folks. We're all just trying to make it together. So I want to thank everybody for popping
Oh,
in
what?
again.
I think
Please,
Bert
go ahead.
wanted to add something.
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, please,
One
please.
last thing, I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean
No,
to,
take it. We got time.
but, listen, Father Time is undefeated, okay? He has not lost a fight, and I'm fighting him viciously. This is an ongoing battle between me and Father Time. Just as you go along in life, and like, I'm gonna piggyback off of what everybody is saying, just make the proper adjustments and do what you do. Never be embarrassed about what's going on with you. If anything, please talk to somebody, go to your doctor. Listen, I was hard headed when I was going through what I went through, and it took Hannah to go ahead, stop being that male ego, and just go to the doctor. So to the men, to the ladies too, just make sure you take care of yourself, adjust your lifestyle accordingly, and just try to do the best that you can do with your diet and with working out, whatever it is that you can do, just try the best that you can do. I'm
Thank you.
still fighting that battle, trust me.
Thank
Sometimes
you. Thank you.
I'm
Thank you. No,
Right.
thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And so once again, if you haven't already, you can find this show on TFG TV, on YouTube or Facebook. Subscribe. I hope you're getting something out of this. This is what this show has always been about. It's real talk. That's why we call it Real Talk. The official name of the show is Real Talk for Real Men, but we knew from its inception that women are probably the most important people to this conversation, because if we don't have the women tuning in, giving their insight, then it's just a bunch of niggas standing in the room talking shit. So I appreciate my female viewers more than anybody else. I thank you guys. You make this so worth doing it. Y'all laughing, but I'm being so sincere, and this is what does it for me. I can sit here right now, in my last minute, I'll tell you what I do for a living. Tasha and I, we work remote positions, and I literally had one of the dumbest bitches that I've talked to in a long time. And being that the phone call is recorded, I had to sit there and take it. I was truly looking forward to this conversation where I can just get that off my brain, because I wanted to tell her in so many ways, you dumb, stupid bitch, you. I wish I could come over there with a machete and cut your fucking head off, but
Oh
I
my God.
digress. With that said, I can woo-saw because I've talked to family about
Wow.
real stuff in a real way, unfiltered, and that is what makes Real Talk worth doing every week. Now, with that said, I want everybody to enjoy the rest of their week. We are on the backside, folks, of Wednesday. 2 more days. 2 more days, and we hit the weekend again. So we got this thing. Stay safe, stay prayed up, keep it real. I love you, and thank you for the support. God bless, and everybody enjoy the rest of their night.